Hello, fellow humans, and welcome to Pitch Point by Media 3, where we maximize signal from Web3 projects. So do subscribe. I'm your host, Max, co-founder of AdaMoments.io, the infinite timeline. Let's dive into the pitch made by Piotr and Oko from Techstars, the world's most active pre-seed investor, now looking to convert Cardano's builders into companies. Let's check it out. Fantastic. Piotr and Oko, thanks for being here to represent Techstars. This is a short, no-nonsense format where we keep it tight to maximize signal for the audience here. We give you a 2-minute pitch followed by 10 minutes of questions. Are you ready?
Yes, we are. Good to meet you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Max. Hi, everyone. My name is Piotr Godzinsky. I oversee partnerships at Techstars, and I'm in charge of the proposal that we submitted to help Cardano builders. At Techstars, we help founders succeed, and we do that by working with and supporting startup communities. That's our mission. As you will notice today, we're extremely founder-centric as an organization, but also as individuals. We have been doing that for the last 17 years. We started in Boulder, Colorado, and we supported thousands of founders from ideation to growth and exit through various startup programs. We operate those in Europe, Japan, Australia, the Middle East, Africa. And we think that talent is equally distributed anywhere, but that opportunities are not. So we work with startup communities to help founders wherever they are on the globe. The program, the proposal we described for Cardano builders, called Founder Catalyst, is a 10-week program that provides participants with the training, tools, mentorship, and network to prepare them for the next level. Our focus will be to help Cardano builders focus on building companies, sustainable companies, and that's really important. We know that Project Catalyst spent roughly $100 million to finance approximately 2,000 projects. Those grants need to be converted into investable and sustainable businesses. And here's the reason why. When founders succeed, everyone does. Governments get more jobs created, universities get tech transfers and revenues, investors get returns. And in this case, if Cardano builders build sustainable and scalable businesses, what it means is more adoption for Cardano at scale. And so that's what we'll be focusing on, provided the proposal gets funded, and I'm happy to discuss it further with you today.
Yep, brilliant. We've got a couple of minutes now for questions. Thanks for being in the time. That was very well timed. I think one of the first questions that really I find very interesting to ask projects is, why did you choose Cardano, right? So of course, Catalyst is there in a way to help projects get onboarded on Cardano, but you as a VC-rich, experienced company, you must see a lot of different chains, different strategic methods that blockchains try to approach, the trilemma, right? And then Cardano is one of these blockchains, one of these layer ones. Is there something you can share about that? How did you choose Cardano?
Happy to. Thanks, Max, for the question. So there's probably two buckets, like two reasons for that. First, the relationship we've been building with some individuals from the Cardano Foundation and other Cardano adjacent organizations. And we just build great relationships, talking about how founders are going, what they're building, where they're building companies. And maybe the second one is we see a lot of Cardano initiatives in emerging markets. I built companies first in Poland, which is an emerging market, but let's say it's not Western Europe, and then in Mexico. And in many markets, founders are solving problems governments are not. And so we think founders are making this world a better place, and we see a lot of Cardano builders trying to address issues in markets and emerging markets where just sometimes there's just more problems than where we live in Western Europe. So that's probably the two major reasons why we're in conversation, why we submitted a proposal. And the Project Catalyst is a great framework, because suddenly you expose what you're doing to a vast community who will just like screen it and decide whether or not it's relevant and whether or not it will help Cardano.
Yeah. No, I mean, that I definitely find myself in that. The emerging markets is for sure what brought many people to the space, and building there for banking down banked. And there are some great projects like that on Cardano. So in Techstars' mind, you've been investing and building in the Web3 space. Is there something that you can tell about your experience as Techstars, like what kind of projects you look for, and perhaps a little bit about how you choose to onboard projects as well?
Happy to, and then I'll pass it over to you, Oko. I'll just kick it off. So I think regardless of the industry or the space where founders or startups are building products, it's also the case for Web3 companies, but we're looking at founders first. It's like founders. Like, who are you? Why are you building what you're building? What do you understand that we don't about the problem you're solving? How do you think you have the capacity to solve it as an individual and with the product or service you're developing? So this is how we essentially choose with whom we work at scale. And this is also why founders come to us globally, to just be exposed to a founder-friendly institution when we focus on just helping them build sustainable businesses. And I think it goes across any industry you can imagine, from Web3 to energy, fintech. Then it's also only, okay, which kind of problem are you solving for, really?
And maybe jumping in on that, the principles of founders. I mean, Catalyst is, of course, something that's funded by the wider Cardano community. So can you speak to how would this benefit the wider Cardano community if Techstars initiative got funded?
Happy to. Oko, I'll try not to hijack the microphone. Well, I think when founders succeed, everyone does. Like, Cardano wants adoption. Cardano probably wants stability for its token or increase of value. And adoption goes through, are there end users at scale out there who will be using products or services built on Cardano? Are those end users willing to pay for those services? That's the tricky part always. And helping founders thinking beyond the product they're building and thinking about the path to product market fit and scale and profitability and building sustainable, like financially sustainable businesses, that will help Cardano get market shares, adoption at scale, and obviously support the value of its token.
Okay, and I mean that makes sense. We should possibly highlight also there's a bit of history between Cardano and VCs in general. There's sometimes this idea that there's a rift between the Cardano community and the VC space because the ICO was in Japan. Does Techstars see any of that, or how does Techstars see the Cardano community? Is it just like most other projects, or is there anything you can speak on that respect?
Well, I think at Techstars we have very good relations with everyone out there. We might be a specific breed of investor because we go into the trenches with founders for weeks and months, and we roll up our sleeves and we help them go from ideation to MVP, from MVP to investment readiness, and then from those stages to fundraising pre-seed rounds and preparing for seed and Series A. I think VCs, it's a source of funding at the end of the day. And when you're a founder, you can choose to fund yourself with angels, with money on chain, with debt, with grants. There's so many ways that you can finance your business to grow. I don't see, or at least I'm not so much familiar with this kind of gap in between the VC space and the fact that Cardano did its ICO in Japan. We're operating out of Japan, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe that helps. But perhaps let's zoom in a little bit on how Techstars helps founders then. So can you tell us a little bit about the program? What kind of projects are you looking for? Are they really pre-seed, or do they already have to have a certain user base? What is it that Techstars is looking for?
Should we jump in now quickly? Hi, everyone. My name is Oka, joining this also from London. So happy to be here and continue. Quickly jump on the question. So we are proposing a model that we've been testing for many years. I think it connects to that previous question you had, where founders are really from everywhere, right? And Techstars was always known to have that in our DNA. We want to go there where the founders are and support them. The program we're proposing forward is a 10-week program that takes individuals who have project ideas, sees an opportunity, right, or an innovative technology idea, And what they want to do is it does really take an ecosystem to take that from a project to a kind of a sustainable companies. Hopefully, at some point, venture, at some point they can fundraise. It can really have larger impact on the ecosystem. So we have week by week project where we bring in our ecosystem with Cardano's ecosystem together. We build many stakeholders, such as the mentor pool, speakers, and advisors, and together we have the systemic approach to really help them. We've ran it all over the world so far. Results have been very, satisfying to us. That's why we're so confident to bring this forward. And we think that we can see some really cool results in this ecosystem too, together.
Fantastic. And I mean, there's quite some VC groups that are starting to get more and more interested in Cardano. Can you tell us maybe a little bit about the differentiation in perhaps your strategy or your network from other VCs that Techstars might have a bit of a competitive advantage over?
I'll start and then I'll throw it to you. I'll be quick. Yesterday, our CEO was in fact in London. One of the things he said is, we are a different kind of VC. He pointed that out. And what makes us different is what Piotr just referred to. We don't just, invest our monies and pray and wait. No, we get in the weeds with the founders. We understand them. We've run over 30 plus global accelerators around the world right now, and it's always running. So that, I think, we're also very grassroots. Our connections and network is really important to us, our network. And then that is all over the world. And we really try to utilize that network to be able to elevate founders. Anything else? Yeah.
No, that's exactly it. There's a lot of VCs that are hands-on or not hands-on, and we're definitely the most hands-on you can probably see out there, because we're first and foremost operating programs and helping startup communities and going to the trenches with them. And then if we're lucky, we get to deploy capital to those companies and helping.
Well, I think that philosophy sounds very much close to the DNA of Cardano. It's definitely distributed across the world and has had to be grassroots for quite a long time. Just on this question of the projects that get onboarded into the program, of course, it's something that many projects will look for, and they will try to understand how they can get their chance to be part of that. Is there anything you can say in terms of how this philosophy that you already mentioned connects to what type of projects can enter the startup accelerator, or what type of projects you look for the startup accelerator?
You want to start?
You want me to go, Oko?
Yeah, go. Start now.
So first, those that want to participate in the program, it's really important to come and be willing to go into the trenches with us and learn. But we'll also rely a lot on the knowledge the Cardano community has. All of the people we met already, and probably more will meet if the proposal gets funded, because the community knows who are those builders, what are they building, where are they, what are their needs, what is the first problem we try to solve with a first program together. So it will not be a Techstars review of a 2,000 list project saying, hey, we suggest those 30 ones. We'll actually sit together with people who know the community already, and we'll learn from you on that journey. But Oko, just feel free to enhance that.
Max, can I add 10 seconds?
Yeah.
All right. I think one thing, if a founder, if somebody is looking at that right now, hey, that program is interesting, how can I be better prepared? We got to remember what Piotr said earlier, which is we're an early stage investor. That's what we specialize in. What that means is that we will look at the founders. That's going to be the most important thing. We want to see if you're coachable. We want to see if you're obsessed with that problem that you're trying to solve here. We want to see if you have the vision and ability to lead groups of people and work together with mentors and speakers to bring that further your project, right? Those are really going to be fundamental but important criteria. Outside of that, in terms of verticals or specific technology or specific areas, that's us as a community working together and defining each of the instance of this program together.
Fantastic. Okay, well, that certainly got me excited, and I know a couple of other Cardano projects that would be as well to join this. Maybe one final question that I think is fascinating in the VC and the crypto, let's say, philosophy space where they come together. is this concept of DAOs, right? Or that doesn't necessarily need to be VCs, but even just equity and DAOs. And the principle behind DAOs is that projects are community controlled, that users get a lot of say in the direction of projects, rather than, for example, controlling equity stakes. That is an interesting concept that's starting to evolve, right? This dynamic by which people are interacting and by which ownership takes place in projects. Does Techstars have a philosophy around that? Do you see that that new wave of ownership type, let's say, of end users being much more involved in the companies themselves? Do you have any thoughts or ideas to share around that?
I do. Oko, you want me to kick it off? So I think the way we're looking at this is setting up founders in a position where they can collect funding from whatever the source, should be VC, DAOs, or other sources of funding, and so they can choose. They can choose what's best for them, what's best for the businesses. Is it engaging with users, as just described? Is this with communities? Is it with VCs or angels? And we'll be focusing on making them ready, so they're in a position of luxury where it's fairly tough to be in there, where you can choose with whom you want to work from a financial standpoint perspective. Like I think that would be our focus. Again, bringing back to the founders and creating those options for them, rather than imposing. If you want to build a company, you have 3 space building on Cardano, you have to do that. Like that's not exactly our philosophy. But Oko, Mike is yours.
10 seconds, Mike.
Yeah, of course.
Techstars have been around for 17 years. So it went through many economical cycles, technological cycles, and trends, etc. So we've seen some different models in terms of ownership. But one of the things, again, going back to us coming in the early stage investors, that we come in with the basic founder equity into the cap table with these founders. And because we are not trying to take control over it, or control or ownership. We want to give those two as much as possible to the founders, because they're the ones who ultimately will take these projects to succession. So that's why it's founder first. That's everything we do. We look through that lens instead of us trying to be in there. And like Piotr said, founders, they lead, we follow. Right? If they decide DAO is the way, yes. I'm personally super interested in DAO. I really want to see how that plays out in the future. I've tried it once, didn't succeed. So yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Thanks so much, Oko and Piotr. Maybe to lead us out, just a call, shout out to the community on where they can follow your project along or your proposal, perhaps even where to get in touch if they're interested to become somebody that joins your program.
So obviously on Project Catalyst, LinkedIn, our names, reach out to us. We're nice guys. We answer messages, we answer emails. Reach out to the people you know in the Cardano community. They're happy to perform introductions as well. Just don't hesitate.
Super. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you.